Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. I just wanted to come in, talk about the season one finale is out there for Swagger, which you can see on Apple TV Plus. The show stars Isaiah Hill as Jace Carson, who's a character based off of NBA All Star, two-time Final MVP, one-time season MVP Kevin Durant. O'Shea Jackson is on here as Coach Isaac Edwards, uh, and it's directed and created by veteran TV guy Reggie Rock Bythewood. So, first of all, man, I want to salute everybody involved with the project. I didn't think, the first episode or episode and a half, I was kind of on the on the fence if I was going to be in. And I gave it some time. I got a chance to know to see what the story was about, and all of these different actors who I really wasn't all that familiar with. I gave myself some time to see what they were about. I think, but most importantly, you know, Reggie Bythewood just knows what he's doing and is a very, very capable behind the lens and putting together good TV. So shout out to them. Like I said, my question was, or my concern was, whether or not this type of show centered on a 14-year-old and a single parent mom and something like AAU basketball, would it really be able to would that be enough to hook people? I liked it. Again, it's going to require people to add another subscription to their to what they pay for their entertainment. I have not. Somebody on here yesterday or earlier this week, Janine, who comes to the channel quite often, she mentioned that it was $5.99, I believe. I know you can see the commercials right now. If you get an iPhone with certain providers, you can get a year of Apple TV Plus free. That's how I'm able. That's how I've been able to watch the three or four shows that I have that have moved into my rotation on my playlist that are available. Even some good movies too. Right now they have a new Mahershala Ali movie, Swan Song. I want to check that out later tonight with the wife. I kind of didn't get much from the trailer for that, but I'm gonna check that out later tonight. Get on to this finale. The team Swagger, that's the name of the show. That's the name of the AAU team. The team makes it to Florida, which is the name of the episode. And the cliffhanger here that we all knew how it was going to play out. Jace Carson, the best player, the number one ranked, teenage player in the DMV, sustained an injury as in the national in the game to win the right to go to the nationals, which were in Florida. This became a goal for Jace because he learned that his father, who he hasn't seen, that walked out on the family 10 years ago, that's where he lives. And it became his goal to get his team down there to nationals so that he could show his father what he's become and the young man that he is and what his dad walked out on. And the only thing is, getting into episode 9, when he had this knee injury, he was told that he had to be off of the leg for 6 weeks, and nationals was only 3 weeks away. That takes us through the penultimate episode, and we get into the finale, Florida. And the other piece of drama here early in the episode is that Coach Isaac can't make it to Florida because his newborn daughter has some kind of she has the flu or pneumonia or something, and that keeps him at home. Uh the other part of the coaching staff and the manager, the business mind of the team, Meg, she's just coming out of her father passing away from a battle with cancer. but he left her some he was a basketball coach himself. He left her some plays that he kind of implied or hinted would be useful to her with Swagger. And we have Coach Naeem. He leads the team down there to Florida, where they have to play 2 or 3 games to get into the championship. We also have Tristan Wiles' character, who is the executive for Gladiator, the shoe company, a shoe company and apparel provider that's trying to, you know, his name is Alonzo on the show. But Gladiator is trying to, get some market share and become a player in the basketball sneaker and apparel business. And part of their strategy has been to jump in at the ground floor with young basketball players. So he previously he'd arranged for he lined up Gladiator to be the sponsor of another team, but he's become aware of everything that's going on with Swagger and wants to chip in and wants to get involved, but it's some issues there with his bosses agreeing to do that. So he delivers this very thoughtful presentation to try to secure some money and convince his business team why they need to support this team, why they may not fit the profile of the team of the types of teams they want to associate their brand with. And I thought that was a strong part of the show. The other, like I said, the lingering question here was whether or not Jace would be able to play. Even though we see in the episode the orthopedic doctor that he goes to reviews, she does a follow-up visit with him and tells him, you need about 3 more weeks before you can start putting pressure on this thing. They get down to Florida and Jace is still dealing with what he calls himself being a mascot because he can't play. But him and his sister Jackie, they have this meeting with their father who they haven't seen. And I think this basically sets up the real meat of this episode. And I think I'm gonna talk about it more in depth on It's Always Personal. I got more time there. I got to keep it moving here. But I just would like to know, with a lot of these programs, I come on Instagram or even more so here on YouTube, and I try to get an idea of what the reviews and the critiques or the issues, the gripes and complaints are with various movies and series. And a lot of times, it's a big issue amongst black men with how we're depicted in these programs. And this father here, trying to see if I can find his name, and they don't show him on the first list. Let me go down a little bit. I like this brother. I've seen him on other shows before, in bit roles here and there, but he kind of hasn't truly broken through just yet. But to get bit parts like this, I can't find his brother's name on here. Demetrius Gross, that's his name. Demetrius Gross he plays Grant Carson. But yeah, I'm really interested to know, how do brothers feel about what they did with this character. And I think this dinner that the father has with Jace and his sister Jackie, a lot of us have been at that type of reunion, with our father. Jackie couldn't take the fact that he has another daughter. And I don't know if he said he had a family. I know he said he had another daughter. But the dude is trying to do his best. You contact me, you want to meet, he shows up to meet. He says, "Oh, y'all can eat whatever, you can order whatever you want." And it's like nothing that the brother says is good enough. They're sitting here, they only want to know what they want to know. They're not interested in trying to, and this is a 14-year-old, and I don't know how old Jackie is, 12 or 13. They just want to know why you haven't been around. Focus on the past. And he tries to explain himself, and he tries to say, he says something about some of the thugs around the way kept me in the loop about what was going on with you. Um, he says it sounds like you got something good going on with this basketball thing. He said, I thought you would have been a wide receiver like I was, but you chose basketball and you're doing your thing with that rock. He tries to keep it cordial and see where this thing can go organically. So I think this scene and this situation is handled very well and probably very realistically. So Jace leaves this dinner and he's like, screw this, I gotta go and I gotta do whatever I can because I need to get back to the original plan, which was for him to see me play basketball and for me to show him what I became without him being involved in my life. And I really got to stick it to him the best way that I can. So he goes home and gets this ice bath, and I got to get all the swelling out of my knee, and he's got to play. And I think he hits. I was doing something at the time. I do need to go back and watch this episode again to truly see if there were any other details that I missed. But the gist of the for me, the most moving part of the episode was he ends up hitting the game winner. I think he contributes greatly to the team becoming the national champions. In the meantime, Coach Icon or Isaac did make it down to the finals. And even before Isaac got there, he explained to Jace, he finally cleared up what happened in the world champion. I mean, damn, in the world champion, in the state tournament championship game. He clarifies that he didn't throw the game. Lester, his partner, had got wrapped up in some situation to throw the game, and he was trying to help out his friend. They wanted to abandon the plan, or he couldn't go along with it, and he tried to bring the team back, but he fell short. This harmed his relationship with his father, and his father went to the grave without them reconciling their relationship, and that's what he's been going through. So that was also going on. Let's get back to Jason, his father. So he hits this game-winning shot, and they name him the MVP of the tournament or whatever. And Jace takes the award and goes and confronts his father. He doesn't talk into the microphone. He goes up into the stands and confronts his father. He's all emotional. And that's what I'm gonna talk about more at length, in greater detail on the podcast. But I think this is a very unfortunate situation because nobody really wants to hear what this father said because he abandoned his two kids. But in the meantime, nobody is listening. Nobody really wants to take the time to understand that the brother was honest. For whatever was going on, wherever he was in his life at that point in time, and whatever was going on with the mom, who Jenna is, I think her name is Jenna, or at least Jen. She's very ambitious, and yeah, Jenna Carson, played by Chanel Azora. They couldn't work it out. He said something about, I'm at work all day in some menial job. I ain't shit there. Then I got to come home and not be shit to your mom. And that was just too much for me. And so they looked at him leaving. He says, well, I had to get out of there for it to be the best situation for you guys. And that's probably, as a young man, not having a coach, Naeem, as I talked about Naeem in a video, I highlighted that character, assistant coach Naeem, not having someone to help work through this, probably, no chance for family counseling, money, financial, issues and whatnot. They probably didn't even have a chance to be a family unit and for him to stick around and be a part of his kids' lives. He went and did what and it's selfish. And he could have done better than not contacting his two kids. But this is a part of reality. This happens quite often. You're looking at someone that was in the that I was Jace Carson. I ain't had Jace Carson's skills and his promise, but I was in this triangle. I was in the middle of this situation with two adults. So I like I said, I think it was handled very well in terms of the writing here and how they played it out. But I do think a greater discussion needs to happen that the father just isn't a total loser and a total piece of shit. It's more complicated than that. But I salute them for dealing with it. I'm watching a couple of series right now, and it seems like the tendency or the trend is to go create the world or imagine the world as the writer or the director wants to see it, and the shit doesn't look right on TV versus taking some real life situations and really fleshing that out and giving us something to take a look at and to have a greater discussion on. But I just thought it was well done. I thought it was heartfelt. I thought they checked a lot of boxes. I thought it was, and, people why people watch all these different shows and gravitate towards what they gravitate to. The other shows that are out there that are, that feature all black casts or, are directed by and written by black people or whatever, urban entertainment, whatever. I just think this is a show that deserves some time. I hope, I hope that it can make a little bit of noise to get more eyes on it. I enjoyed it. And it looks like it'll have a second season. I don't know what that could be about. They kind of teased it a little bit with expecting these players to return with another season with Isaac O'Shea Jackson Jr. And he told him at the end, all of these teams, they know about you now. They'll be gunning for you. They want to take what you got, and you guys will move forward together. And maybe you got to defend this crown. So we'll see what happens. What other challenges are out there for the group? The other thing that was out here that was kind of a loose end that they left out there was Alonzo made it down to the Gladiator guy made it down to the team and wanted to talk to Meg about sponsoring the team and whatnot. And Meg was real shitty with him. And again, Alonzo has been doing the best that he could do. He's been doing the best that he could do to be involved with this team and to try to maybe right the wrong that he did in supporting the other team when he thought they had Nick Mendez, who ended up playing on Swagger with Jace Carson and being a major part of why they won the national game. But again, it's like he's not shit, and I think that's what's a good part of the show is showing that a lot of us would like to go out here and do a lot of different things or do a lot of things differently, but sometimes our hands are tied. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta show each other a little bit of grace every now and then, or look at walk in the other person's shoes for a second, and before we just make these judgments and how we treat one another, how we deal with one another, just because things don't necessarily go the way that we want them to. Sometimes we got to separate the individual from the issue sometimes. Like Alonzo, because she said something about you'll mature and do the right thing, or you'll do the correct. That man, that man put his whole livelihood in jeopardy in making the statements that he made in this presentation. The boss or the CEO wanted to see him one-on-one and confronts him, and the boss is like, "Hey, you damn near you accused all of us of being the KKK." What mentor or what ally, what cover does Alonzo have in that with that business at Gladiator for him not to lose his job when he went to bat to try to get this money and to try to get the approval to move forward with sponsoring the team? he didn't own Gladiator. He just had worked himself into a position to be able to try to be involved with the decision making. And not his man's reputation, he could be a sellout or a coon or out of touch or whatever. And he was doing his best with what he had to work with. You know what I'm saying? He had to go in there and win over 6 or 7 or 8 other people to make the decision that he thought was the only decision that they could make. So again, he's got his struggle as a black man. And then Grant Carson, as this father of these 2 kids with the mother that he couldn't get along with, he's a piece of shit. And he was doing the best thing that he thought he could do when he originally made the decision. And now you got this young man standing in front of you, telling you you're a piece of shit, shoving an MVP award into your chest in front of an audience, a crowd full of people, and so on and so forth. The other thing, it was a couple of other things here. Jenna had to communicate with, she had to had this very adult conversation with her 2 kids and kind of take some ownership or answer some questions about what happened to that relationship and what was her role in that relationship. Did she run their father off? And she had to talk about, she had to clarify for them that I wasn't angry that you wanted to know about your father. I understand that. I've had all of these conversations. I've participated in all of these conversations. And she's just like, I just didn't like that you ran around behind my back. And, probably to her, to some degree, I'm here hustling and doing everything that I'm doing to feed y'all, clothe y'all, to keep you in good schools and to get you out into the world on solid footing. And that's not enough for you. You still worried about this person that's not here. And that's what kids do. That's what kids do. So I thought that was I thought that was good, was good writing, and that they handled that well. The other, we saw Isaac go had a conversation at the grave with his father and, finally fill us in on what happened there to a degree. He came back and closed it and fully revealed it with his phone call with Jace. That's the last thing I'm gonna talk about. The other loose end that was out there was the fact that Jace Carson, again, this young man, he only can deal with all of these adult situations, these challenging and tough situations with all of these different relationships and how you respond to adversity and how you understand your world and how things work together and so on and so forth. How you come of age. And he had passed judgment on Isaac, and told Isaac, you ain't no 24-hour man like you say you are. You're not a 24-hour person like you say you are. You lied to me. You betrayed me. You turned your back on me. You misled me. You didn't keep it a buck with me. You didn't keep it funky with me. You on the same shit as my father. And Jace is sitting here like showing a lot of restraint, a lot of humility. Like, young bruh, I could bust your ass. I could kick you off my team. I could do this. I could do that. He lets this young brother work through a lot of stuff because he was there too as an older guy, or he was there too as a younger kid. So he understands some of this stuff. But they have this. I thought this was another very good scene to show that as Jace matures, as he has more experiences, and as he learns, the way that you look at everything isn't the only way that for it to be looked at. That's not the only perspective to have on it. But he said, you know what, man? Damn. I realize you didn't do this. I realize you didn't lie to me. I realize that as a man, you can be trying to be, you might have to wear a lot of different caps to be one man. Your message to your wife might be one thing. His message to his boss at work or his supervisor, he might have to give that person another side of himself. He has to be one thing. He has to be one person to the team. He has to be another person to Meg and to Coach Naeem. Like, we all play a lot of roles in trying to be who we are. And sometimes what Jace learned was like, you got to listen to the message and focus on the message and not necessarily the messenger. And I like that they had him come back and say, "Hey, you know what, man? I'm paying attention in the middle of all my shit and everything I'm doing and all my aspirations and my objectives and what I want to take care and resolve in my life. Uh, yeah, I got to come back and square that up with you, Coach. I was on some BS. I apologize." So I thought this show was just very realistic, man. I thought the writing was on point. Maybe that's a little, it's a lot of romanticism or something that this doesn't happen in the real world, and this is some TV shit. But that doesn't mean that we can't take some of these examples and try to learn something from them. And it wasn't all preachy. It wasn't all preachy either. I thought they just told the story. They showed all of the frustrations of everybody, the challenges of everybody. Um, Also, like I talked about Coach Naeem in a separate video, highlighting that character and what my thoughts and my interest in that character and all the purposes that I thought that Coach Naeem served. They also had one more great showing for Naeem. Not only did he lead the team through those two or three wins that they needed to get into the championship, but he had another. They showed another very heartfelt moment with him and his son Musa, when Musa was coming to him about his feelings that he was developing for Tamika. And I like that father and son relationship that they showed. Again, if you're gonna have your Ghost and your Tariq, and we all love that, we all love Franklin and his father on Snowfall. We saw some of the challenges, those that tuned into the BMF show, whatever. I saw something with I don't even know the characters in that shit, but I saw something with the two brothers and the father in that one. They had their dynamic. But here, if we're gonna show all this other struggle shit, it's nothing wrong with showing a relationship where that's kind of closer to shit. I don't know if more of us have this type of dynamic or this type of relationship, but it was good to see something different. And he was just telling his son, he talking about he wanted to, he was in love with her or something. And I think his dad said something about him in the 6th grade that he said he was in love with basketball or something. Again, man, I just think these is good to see these different examples of fatherhood, these different examples of coming of age. I think these are all beneficial for us. It's good for everybody everywhere to watch entertainment and see something that they connect to. Somebody is telling my story. Everybody is not out here trying to take over the block. Everybody's not trying to hold down a corner. Everybody's way of moving into the next stage of their life, it does not involve becoming the distro or being the right hand to the plug or whatever. It's other people out here with other shit they're trying to work through. And sometimes entertainment is a way to get some ideas on how to navigate what's going on in your life. So I think this show is very is doing a great job. And like I said, I like to see what they do in season 2. I thought O'Shea Jackson, and like I said, I played basketball in high school. I thought he was spot on in working with these kids and trying to point out certain things to them and teach them different lessons. I didn't think any of it became cliche or they overused anything. I thought he was very believable as a coach. So that's that. Hey, Hope you check Swagger out on Apple TV Plus. Again, I'm gonna talk about this a little bit more in depth on an upcoming episode of It's Always Personal. You can find that on Spotify. That's the audio only podcast. My name is Wood. Pay me no mind, sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Hey, enjoy the rest of this weekend. One.